Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Natural20, and this is Let's Play Fire Emblem Three Houses Crimson Flower. Today, in the commentary booth, I am joined once again by the amazing Alxprit, who joins me after looking at the prologue and Chapter 1.
You're lucky I'm done with all my duty roulettes for the day.
I just spent the good part of the last 2 hours in E12S, so that was fun times for me.
Oh. Well, at least you're getting through it, though.
So for those who don't know, we're talking about the critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy XIV with a free trial up towards Heavensward.
Alright, enough about that, though.
Enough about that. We are here to play some Fire Emblem. So we're looking at Chapter 3 today, which is the Magdred ambush, but we have some other tasks beforehand that we'll be getting to. So with that, let's watch the video.
Alright.
And yeah, we open up with me looking at the promotions that I have earned through my hard work. Now, I kind of want Byleth to be in Fighter, because Fighter gives a strength bonus. But he's only got a 66% chance at the moment, because I slacked on giving him axes.
Let's see how this turns out, then.
Well, what I'm going to do is, I know Edelgard can promote, and I know that someone else, I think it might be Hubert, can promote as well at this point. Or maybe Dorothea. It's Dorothea that can promote.
Yeah, I think it was Dorothea.
So the idea will be that I'll promote them first, and then I'll promote Byleth, and if he doesn't pass, I'll just promote the other two, and ignore Byleth for the month. So this is a strategy on basically every version of the game, and every difficulty in the game, where strategy, if you fail an exam for that weekend, the RNG system is determined that you will fail the exam. So the best way to deal with it is to just promote everything you can that's guaranteed, and then promote everyone afterwards that isn't guaranteed. And if somebody doesn't pass, you just reset, promote all the ones that did pass, and then move on to the next weekend.
Yeah, because that way you don't waste any seals.
Yeah, it's kind of a silly system, honestly. I don't think that they should waste the seal if you pass. Oh, sorry, if you don't pass, because otherwise it just means that you have to reset, which is a bit annoying with the way that they've done it.
I mean, for me, it was just like, if it's not 100%, I don't even bother trying.
Yeah, so on Maddening, for some of the thresholds later, I'm gonna want to promote at low levels, of low percentages if I can.
Yeah, I understand. It's tougher in that regard.
There you go, and I save happily now that I've got what I want. And yes, I've saved before. Now I'm going to go for Byleth, see if it works. If it does work, wonderful. It did. So yeah, basically everyone's going to end up in Brigand if they can, because Shove is a pretty good positional, and 5% strength is better than the Myrmidons. I think the Myrmidon has Swap, which is not nearly as good. So, a new thing with the DLC is that you get an extra quest here in Chapter 3 called Roster Rescue, which is to get the item that lets you know what house a lost item belongs to, basically.
Oh, okay. See, I never got the DLC. I figured that I was kind of... I felt like it wasn't worth like the entire cost of it if the only thing I cared about was the Ashen Wolves, so I just didn't bother.
Yeah, that's fair. So it's good DLC from like a map-by-map perspective. I enjoy it. But I can totally understand that perspective. Now, here, you get one of the first questions from the students. Always, if you're playing on Maddening, look up the answers to these, because they are worth more professor experience than anything else in the game.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I don't understand why, but it's worth like 800 or something crazy. And yeah, don't buy flowers for anyone unless you actually want them on your side.
Especially not Anna, jeez.
So, I've included a couple of the supports in the game that I like, basically, and I won't make a habit of putting too many in. and certainly not many full supports, but I like the Dorothea one.
Of course. You want to see me again, yes?
I don't think I've seen it. I don't think I ever had her.
I'd love to, Dorothea.
Well, until we meet again.
Well, I probably read it on the other one, but I don't remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, Professor. Were you watching that?
The professor is like, I don't know. I'm not going to slut shame anybody.
You look like you have something to say, Professor. Look, I know what I'm doing. My claim as a diva won't last forever after all. I must look to the future. As a man, you may not feel so rushed about these things, but I know my beauty will eventually...
So this has always been odd about Dorothea's character, where she wants to land a man because like her beauty's going to fade
I
when
would have guessed.
she's in a tremendously impressive military academy.
Games with these boys.
Yeah, I mean,
You have no right to object.
I wouldn't be worried if I were in her
I'll
position,
find a
but
partner here at the academy. Someone who will take care
Yeah,
of
so
you
she's
while
gone to the
I'm
academy explicitly for that, but you know, after this phase, she's a tremendously powerful mage. So it's a bit.
Of course it is. Who could ask
I don't think I don't think it's necessarily incorrect, and I don't think that it's necessarily wrong. But I think that there is just a bit of a disconnect here.
Unless you'd like to take
try
care
not
of
to
me
think
in
too much
private.
about like how powerful quote-unquote characters are as a consideration for their story arcs.
That's true.
Unless
Yeah.
it's like a really significant part of their character, like with Byleth's
You aren't being
sort of the
serious,
creator,
are you?
but
I was just teasing.
just in
Did
general,
you
like
really just consider
she
spending
could
your
be
whole
strong,
life
she could be
with
weak. It's like
If you
aren't
did,
it's like completely up to the whims of fate, honestly.
It
So
makes me happy.
And my Byleth obviously loves Dorothea so much that he's willing to spend the rest of his life with her, despite the fact that they met like 2 months
You
ago.
might even be blushing a bit. Have I embarrassed you?
anime.
If so, I'm very sorry.
That's not a spoiler for who you marry is at the end, I promise.
Professor.
But I just like that response where on your C support you can say, I love you, Dorothea. So this is a benefit, by the way. If you engage a support and during the middle of a week, you can use it to restore people's enthusiasm.
hmm
And that's actually quite handy when, especially at the beginning, you don't have that many exploration points. And it's also useful if you happen to have an odd number of people that have low motivation at that point in time, because you can lop one off if you want to. And yes, Edelgard's Bond is one that you can't deepen until later in the game, until events have happened. Ah, yes. So the reason I wanted to show this is because Constance and Edelgard have unique dialogue when they dine together.
Ah.
Dear me, there is a stain on your highness's dish. The plating hasn't survived on mine either.
I appreciate your concern, but this isn't the place for such formality. We must make allowances for the dining hall, don't you think?
So, a comment on like dining in general. You want to always have two people who enjoy the meal and who have low motivation, because it fills it to full. And if both characters enjoy the meal, you get more support points with them, and you get more professor experience from doing that,
Oh yeah.
which is pretty significant. So, we're jumping forward here. This is the roster rescue mission, basically. And this is actually quite difficult because the recommended level, I think, is 11, and most of my characters are around 5. The thing is, what I wanted to show this for, I would have skipped by it otherwise, is kind of like the power of gambits in this. So, especially with these kind of random missions, it's very, very easy to draw enemies into a line, basically. Or, like you can see here, because all of them will progress towards a character they think they can hurt.
Oh yeah.
So you can see here, everyone's lined up because they're all progressing towards Constance because she has low defense. And so doing that means that you can set them up for very, very big gambits that hit everything. So, you know, I got them with group flames, and now it's quite easy for me to pick them off one by one with my characters.
The noble standard.
Not bad.
Yeah, and you want to do this one early if you can, because otherwise you have to do this at some point because it gives an owl feather, which is really, really handy for recruiting people. And so ideally you want to do it this month because you only have a single exploration point. You're not allowed, like, going back into the monastery isn't worth your time. And yeah, this makes sense basically. But it's an ask, right? Because you're going into enemies that are much, much stronger than you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so for like getting other people into your squad, like from the other houses, an owl feather lets you do that really easily, is what you're saying?
Yeah, so owl feathers are basically a universal gift.
Okay.
They work on everyone, and everyone loves them.
Alright, fair.
Yeah.
Fair to that.
Which means that, you just have a lot more universal gifts to give out, which means that, you can recruit people more easily.
So how many people are you planning to get that are part of the other houses?
So I think it's something like 6 or 7 that I'm planning on.
Okay.
Quite a few. I have a theme and an idea of what I want to do for the recruitment. And so I want to go through with that if I can. That requires a lot of recruiting. My roster will have around 15 people in it at the end, which is, I think, the maximum you can support in maddening.
You mean you don't know?
Yeah. I think it's about, I think you do, 12 and 3 adjutants for the final map.
Yeah, that's
usually.
the maximum deployment.
Which were passed down to their descendants.
I didn't recruit, I recruited like one person on my first playthrough, so I had to struggle to fill those slots.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
using Cyril, Shamir, Catherine, all those people.
Yeah, so I included this cutscene because it kind of gives a bit of information on Catherine. And it's early in the game, so a lot of people kind of miss out on it.
No one saw it coming. Roughly 4 years ago, the King of Fargus was murdered by the people of Dusker. I believe that about sums it up, correct?
To put it simply, yes. But there's more to that story. They had accomplices within the kingdom as well. Lord Lenato's son, Kristoff, was one of them, and so he was handed over to the church for execution.
And Byleth is obviously concerned about the church executing criminals, but he doesn't care at the
King
moment.
Lambert was attempting a major political reform. Needless to say, he had many enemies. Whatever the truth behind that incident may be, Lord Lenato has harbored resentment toward the church ever since. Well, to be more specific, his grudge isn't only against the church. It's also against the one who turned Kristoff over to them.
So, I didn't pick up that that was Catherine the first time I played.
I can see how you could assume that right then and there, but probably helps to have some foresight as well.
Yeah, so obviously, if you play the Black Eagles first, you never find this out because you can't recruit Catherine.
Oh, yeah.
And so you never find out that she's the one who handed him in. So that's a tidbit that only comes through other parts of the game. So the thing I'm showing off here is... so this is the Magdred ambush. It's the first Fog of War map in the game. And I'm showing off that I have torches on basically everybody.
Yeah, that's fair, honestly. Never give Fog of War a chance to get in your way.
Yeah, and this is where Dorothea was so valuable, because the monies that she saved from the earlier missions now goes on torches here to make it easier. Fortunately, she's quite speedy as Dorothea, so she's not going to get doubled and killed by that.
So, any plan to try and, like, minimize how much EXP Catherine is stealing, or are you just going to let her roam?
So I'll explain that in a moment, but I make a mistake here, because I get Yuri to use his torch while he has a steel sword equipped, so his speed is shot. And I can't be bothered to reset at this point, so I'm just going to be like, he'll take a double, deal with it.
That sucks.
Stay focused.
And so yeah, you kind of just want to set up the way that you've seen me do on other missions, which is
Leave it to me.
get everyone out just outside an enemy's range, get one person to bait people in.
I am Ferdinand von Eyre.
That's basically the standard strategy. I use that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And here I'm having Edelgard and Dorothea take attacks. Dorothea because I just ran her in without really knowing where the enemies were. Edelgard because that way that thing is going to move the exact way I want it to. And my Edelgard is a complete beast at the moment. Like just 19 damage from that one axe attack.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. I think she's hit strength on almost every level up so far, which is pretty good for her.
Man, Poison Strike sucks.
Yeah, it really does. So, this is where I want to talk about, like, Catherine, which is... Since ally phase happens after enemy phase, enemies will move into Catherine's attack range and then just get murdered by her.
Yeah.
And there's not much on Maddening that you can do about that. Because you can't push far enough forward safely, especially with Fog of War up.
Yeah.
And even if you didn't have Fog of War up, the enemies hit hard enough that it's probably just not worth doing. So you lose experience here to Catherine. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was like some secret strategy I didn't know about, but...
I've not found one, and I've not read anything that indicates that there is a strat that stops it. That being said, she's going to get lost a little bit later on, which will help somewhat. Not that much, but it will help. So the big deal here is the two guys with Catherine, if they both survive, you get 2 stat boosters at the end. One is, I think, a secret book. The other one is going to be a goddess icon, which is luck and skill.
Yes.
Now, if you've been reading my write-ups, you might not have, some people have, I'm sure, you'll notice that luck and skill are the 2 components of critical strike.
Yeah. I mean, I know about that.
Yeah.
Like even if I hadn't read them, I have been reading them though.
Yeah. And critical strike in this game is very powerful. It's a very, very good stat. So luck and skill are actually very good boosters to get here.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Also, luck is critical defense, which on Maddening is great as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Not so fast.
Feels
Soldier.
like you're always changing like what makes criticals happen from game to game, so I never like actually know most of the time, but
That Hildegard level.
not bad at all.
And she's doing well for herself.
Except for, you know, bleeding
Taking lots
out.
of damage, but... yeah, this is just going to be Catherine's life for this entire mission, just critting everything. Because she's incredibly broken.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, crit's always been a stat that I feel is very, very difficult to evaluate in Fire Emblem. Which is why I think they keep on changing the formula. In that it's quite hard to balance it in such a way that it doesn't feel unfair to the player when like a Randy crit just kills them. And this is me being an idiot. I run Byleth in and there are 3 enemies that are just going to sit on his face.
Oh yeah.
And I have to quickly look and see if I need a time spell to stop this from happening. But I realized that my Byleth is actually doing okay at the moment. He is quite fast. So none of these guys are going to double him, and that means that, in fact, he is going to get double back on one of them.
A little HP draining there, doesn't hurt either.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there is an archer in the woods that I did not see.
That's the problem with Fog of War, is like most of like the strategies to get through it are just to like know where everyone is anyway.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of ignores the point of what the thing is supposed to do.
Yeah, and
I feel like I never like get a good like I don't feel like it's ever been implemented well, honestly.
I don't believe Lord Lonato has the strength to
Yeah, definitely. You can see Catherine, by the way, has run off to the south for some reason. I don't know why she did that, but she's now lost in the woods for a while. As we get ready to kill this bishop, who will get rid of the fog of war if you kill him.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about this one.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Rusted lance. So I think there are only maybe 3 other fog of war maps in the game that I can remember. Then
I remember, I think the one that really stuck out to me was Marianne's prologue.
yeah, definitely.
Paralogue, rather.
I kept this in, by the way, because it's pretty great.
Get her with that lance. Aw.
Oh, it didn't work.
So close.
It's you. Thunderstrike Cassandra. It was your wretched zealotry that killed my son.
The only name I answer to is Catherine. Prepare to taste the blade of one who serves the goddess.
Doesn't that spell out what she was talking about earlier?
Yeah, if you're very dumb, though, you don't put 2 and 2 together.
I mean,
spoilers,
yeah.
I'm very dumb.
Yeah, here. Same here.
It's weird. There's nothing left to hide you or the filthy central church from the judgment of the goddess.
And yeah, now the map is significantly more pleasant to deal with. So I fast forward here. Catherine, not Cassandra. I mean, same thing really, but Catherine is going to just destroy everyone in the south. And there's nothing I can do about it because she is just a menace. I don't know why, but this particular Catherine managed to perfectly position herself each time to be hit by an enemy on the enemy phase and then also kill an enemy on ally phase. Like this is pretty extraordinary, if I can say.
But you, I don't know. Tactics, I guess?
I mean, it's her being very, very smart, I suppose. Much to my chagrin, because it means I don't get as much experience. Fortunately, Maddening is quite good about having a set experience threshold it wants you to have. So you'll level much faster if you're sub what it expects you to be, and you'll level much slower if you're above it.
Oh, okay. Does that exist on the other difficulties?
I think it does, but I don't think the cap exists to the same extent that it does on Maddening. Yes, I didn't expect that miss. I'm just like, let's curve shot, problem solved.
I mean, I would say that's wasteful, but you're almost at the end anyway.
Yeah, and I had what? I think I still had 2 rewinds left. So here, Catherine doesn't go for Lonato.
Kill you, no other.
You have lost all sense of justice. You want to fight me? So be it. I'll send you to meet your goddess.
So yeah, she'll just sit there, out of range, and won't do anything. And I think I end turn here to prove the point. I don't want to... I checked pulses first, but I want to check this as well. So yeah, Catherine just ends turn. But the first church soldier goes and attacks Lonato. And that I don't want to happen. No, because 1, he might die. 2, it means I can't get as many people in range to beat up Lonato.
Alright.
Yeah, here I burn a rewind. And then properly plan out the attack on him. So this is fairly simple. Because you've got Hubert, you have somebody who has 3 range. You have a bunch of archers with curved shot also have 3 range if you need them. And Edelgard just beats people's faces in at the moment. Like, she's very fast. And because I trained her in lances, she has Tempest Lance.
That's good on horses?
It's not good on horses, but it is the single, just highest attack increase that an early art can give you, basically.
Oh, okay.
So now I know that I've got Yuri's curved shot as insurance if Hubert misses, and I've got Byler's curved shot as well. So if this doesn't hit for some reason on 80%, then I've still got backups. But it does.
That vile woman. Christoph, forgive me.
Hooray.
Victory! We killed an old man mourning his son.
And that lingered for quite some time.
Yeah. You know, he gained magic, so I don't care too much, but...
Meet this fate. Well done, everyone. Let's gather our troops and go.
And this is what we were here for. My delicious secret book and my delicious goddess icon.
Yeah, wonder who they're going towards.
Nobody at the moment. They're going to sit in my inventory.
Oh, yeah.
If I was playing all out, I want to win this no matter what, I would give them the Petra pretty much immediately. Because Petra's excellent in Black Eagles. So if that's what you're looking for and you're looking for some sort of guide, then give these to Petra and she will start to kill things for you in a real way.
Damn it, it was all so pointless. I've never seen so many people utterly heartbroken.
Forcing innocent citizens to risk their lives? That man was not a noble, but a monster.
Hold on to that thought.
Could have pushed Lord
Yeah.
Donato to this point.
Everyone was a bit shaken by the militia fighting alongside our enemies.
I think about this for a while. I'm like, well, just be realistic, I suppose.
If only everyone could face reality so unflinchingly. The commoners who allied themselves with Lord Lonato believed they were fighting for a just cause. It would be disrespectful to consider them simply victims when they died for what
And,
they
like,
believed in.
I love this
We
conversation.
have no choice but to eliminate those who cling to unreasonable ideas of justice. Even
Uh,
if our enemies are the gods themselves, we must never lose sight of our goal.
Because, yeah, this is Edelgard laying down her thesis for how the world
I'm
works.
surprised to hear you
And how
say
she would kill God, basically.
Really, I'm just like Lonato. I, too, will be the sort of ruler who's willing to risk the lives of my citizens in service of a higher cause. It's not possible to change the world without sacrifice. Dying
Yep.
for the greater good is not a death in vain.
They really hint towards this in Black Eagles without explicitly saying it.
I'm afraid this incident is far more serious than anticipated.
Because I knew there was a time skip in this game when I first played, but I didn't know who instigated it or how.
We can't tell who sent it, so the source is
yeah,
suspect.
I don't know if I was able to avoid like a lot of spoilers on this or not. I played it like a month and a half after it released or something like
Yeah.
that. I definitely tried not to read up stuff about it, but you know, the fact that there is a time skip, pretty in there for sure.
Yeah. But what I love is, now that I'm playing through Black Eagles, seeing all of these pieces of dialogue that are obviously her talking about what becomes the inciting incident for the war and her beliefs and all that kind of stuff that just don't come up anywhere else. And when you're playing Black Eagles, you wouldn't notice the first time.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't.
Which, you know, lends itself to a playthrough of maddening, but equally, I don't blame anyone for not playing this game more than once.
I think it's the best way to play the game. Just play it once. That's the way I think, anyway.
Yeah, I would, as somebody who's now played it, is on his fourth run through and third one on maddening, you have to be a certain kind of person. And that person is me, because I love building units, all that kind of stuff, and seeing them perform. But if you don't have that mindset, then it's a harsh trek. It's even a harsh trek for me, because I had like more than a year's break between the last time I finished and this. And that was about
I
enough
had to
time.
think how much time has passed since this game first came out.
Just over 2 years now, I think. So it came out in summer of 19, I want to say. Maybe summer of 18. A long time ago. But yeah, that being said, that is all of chapter 3. I quite like that chapter, actually. So, I like it because on Maddening, after the first 2 chapters are very, very turtly, you stay in one spot, you heal. This is a chapter where you've now got healing on a lot of characters, and you can kind of start pushing through, and I think that's really good.
Cool.
But yeah, Fog of War sucks. People can deal with it. So with that, thank you very, very much for joining me again, Alex.
Of course, anytime.
And we will catch you all in the next episode.